Rub your hands together. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? I'm shouting here. Let me turn myself down a little bit there. I think you're all doing very, very well. Who had a good weekend? I'm pretty sure you did too. We're going to run through absolutely everything from a fantastic weekend for United in the Premier League. Let's be totally honest. United winning, Liverpool losing, City losing, Chelsea losing. My, how things can change. In just a couple of weeks, we're going to run through the whole game. We're going to speak about Mbeumo, speak about Cunha, speak about Amorim, speak about momentum, speak about what happened in the league, speak about what comes next. I enjoyed myself. I think we're all going to enjoy this show. And it's nice to be able to have these shows where we do enjoy ourselves because we've gone through plenty of bad. Let's be totally honest. Let me say hello to everybody from the mods and the members in the chat. And let's get on with today's show. And can I start today's show by just saying, JC, legend, man, to come in here whipping out 50 straight away, the community, it just blows my mind. It really does. I refuse to believe that there is a more generous and involving United community out there. I just refuse to believe it. Thank you so much. And to everybody who came up and said hello to me at Old Trafford, that was awesome. It's lovely to meet everybody, lovely to see everybody, and lovely to just enjoy a game at Old Trafford. People are talking about the different time that we're here live today. Clocks went back in the UK. Have a go at them, not me, all right? Now let's say hello to everybody. Good morning to Steph. Good morning to Carl, to Josh, and not good morning to YouTube, who's bloody changed the usernames back to the, don't know, whatever it is, nicknames. Dead annoying. Hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, they change it back again. Alex, good morning to you. JC, good morning to you. I've already said that as well. We've got John, we've got Just, we've got Edward, Maddie, good morning to you. We've got Darren, we've got Theo, Amy, we've got Asan, some non-members to say hello to you as well. We've got Yusuf, we've got Casper, we've got Pat Denny, we've got Luca, Gaz, and Rico. Now, can I start today's show by saying this? Ladies and gents, the latest episode of the podcast was released this morning at 8 a.m. on Spotify and on Apple. Me, Dan, and Nick. You can imagine it's quite an enjoyable podcast. I was saying to the lads, like, we accidentally chose a pretty good time to launch this pod. It had been in the plans for a long time, but we just seemed to launch at the right time. You can basically thank us for the momentum, really. That's what I'll say. But yeah, that's live on Spotify and Apple, and it'll be getting released tonight at 7 p.m. on YouTube, the full video version. And that's going to be a new thing that happens. Every Monday and every Thursday at 7 p.m, we'll drop the video version of the podcast. Now, let's run through the weekend, because we all had a good one, man. Sunderland getting a last-minute winner against Chelsea. Oh, what a shame. No one likes to see that. That Liverpool game against Brentford. We were in a pub in Deansgate watching that. That was fun. Although, what happened in the... Can somebody tell me why the end of the game against Brentford, there was like an extra 4 minutes on the 7 minutes bloody extra time? We were trying to figure out. Madness. Anyway, and then Villa, quite convincingly, beating City at the same time as United beating Brighton. And just like, look at the table. Just look at the table. Arsenal was sort of stinking their way to a title, by the looks of it. Man, they've only conceded 3 goals this season. 3 goals. And I think like 60% of their goals are coming from set pieces. They seem to have found the formula. It's very reflective of every other team in the league, by the way. Set pieces are becoming significantly more important than they have been in previous years, and it might be just because Arsenal was setting the trend on that. But we're not looking at the title. 21 is coming. 20. Look, we're not looking towards that. Our aim this season, our ambition this season, was top 6. And remember at the start of the season, after the first few games, people were saying it was just impossible. And after Brentford, it felt distant. Very, very distant. But as I said, isn't it amazing what a couple of weeks can do in football? And look at this as well. Like, this is how rare this weekend was in the Premier League. That Chelsea, Liverpool and City all lost in the same weekend. That hasn't happened since 2015. That's how long ago it has been since all three of them lost on the same weekend. And it's 3 wins from 3 for United. Now let's focus on United, because going into that Brighton game, in fact, let me read some of your comments out, right? Let me read just some of your comments out and then we'll head into the game. Sean is saying we could challenge at this rate. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just a bit stupid to... Not stupid. You can't have a genuine conversation about it now. What you can do is focus on each game one at a time. Won that, build on to the next one. Forest next. Beat them, head to Spurs. Beat them, go into the international break with 5 wins from 5. Yeah, we're going to enjoy that international break. Jesse saying Arsenal won't win anything. At some point, Arsenal are going to balls up. Arsenal they'll have a wobble. Just kind of depends how far away they are. Yeah, United conceded 14, but I tell you what, scored 15. We've scored 2 goals less than City, 1 goal less than Liverpool, and it always was the strategy. What we're starting to see now, right? What we saw against Brighton and what we're seeing in these last couple of games is the strategy working. You know what our strategy was this season? We bought Cunha, we bought Mbeumo, we bought Premier League proven players to score goals, to bring more goals to this team. And that's what we're starting to see. Are we seeing the control and the dominance? I tell you what, saw a lot more control against Brighton than I actually expected. How we played is not how I thought we were going to play. What's your thoughts on the game? I know the game was on Saturday, but obviously I was at the game. Yeah, my voice on Sunday. Jeez. Ropey saying to maintain this form until the end of the season, we need to buy players in January. Well, if we're going to sign one, we're probably going to sign a midfielder and bring forward a plan that would happen in the summer if we were going to do anything. I think so anyway. Now that first goal from Cunha came, says Gus. A hat-trick is on the cards for the next. I'm so happy that Cunha got that goal, man. Oh, wow. Gungshi as well. Gift him 50. Jesus. I really don't know what to say anymore at these sorts of things. All of you, please get involved in the Discord. I think we're just shy of hitting 10,000 members on Discord. Do you know how nuts that is? Big up to Joe. Big up to Alex. Big up to everybody who helps moderate on Discord, because again, that's an extension of the community, and it's a big deal, man. It's just nice. It's just nice. Sorry, just to. It was nice to. Well, it's just. I'm tired of United being crap. So to have this sort of momentum, and it feels like genuine momentum, it's class. Z, how you doing, buddy? Saying it was great to see you on Saturday in the Manchester Hotel. Wasn't sure if it was you at first. Thanks for greeting me and having a convo. Big up to you, Z. There was Amy. There was a lad called Amy as well that I met in a hotel. And then there was quite a few of you at the ground. So it's good to meet you, man. It's good to meet everybody. I'm glad you all came over and said hello. Alex saying the voice chats in the pre and the post game were awesome in Discord. I promise you this week, and I've been promises. Kind of like I always feel like I'm not delivering on the promises with the community because I'm overstretched. And in fact, can I tell you now? We're going to be probably hiring for the community manager role again. It's not quite worked out due to sort of stuff outside of our control with us and Jimmy right now. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be doing that in the future, and I really hope that Jimmy stays involved. So Jimmy, if you're watching, I know you're not, but I still want to work with you in the future. But right now, it means that we're going to have to open that role for the community manager. Now, this role itself, it's quite demanding. It's not full-time, but this community is so big. You can see how much is going on here. I need somebody that I can rely on to serve this community, to get the emojis done in the live chat, to build new stuff, to build new polls and trivias and engaging things that the community deserves that I just don't have time to do. So if you feel like you're a member of the community that could do that, trust me, this isn't a joke of a role. It's not like something you could do on and off and then I might turn up. No, you have to be reliable. You have to be consistent. That's what we need. That's what this community deserves. But my email is sam@unitedpeoples.tv and we're going to be advertising for the role again. All right. And it's a subject there from Ant saying we'd have folded in that situation before. Now we are seeing not only ability but mental strength from these players, and long may it continue. Now let's speak about this game because, as I said, I didn't expect United to play how we played against Brighton. I can only speak about myself here, but what did you think? I thought going into that game, I expected us to play in a similar way to Liverpool. I thought Brighton were going to press us with intensity, and I thought if we were going to try and play out from the back and play through them, we would kind of become unstuck. The question down there saying, is it full-time job or part-time? The community manager role will be part-time to begin with. So it needs to have the right person in the right sort of work sort of environment to be able to do it. But the concept is to build it up to a full-time job, just like Ronnie has done with us. Started in a part-time role and is now full-time. It's just the way that it goes. That's just the patterns, I suppose. But yeah, we played through Brighton. We played just significantly better football than Brighton. It was the best half of football that we played this season, and it was quality. I said it after the game. It felt like the United players were just having fun. One-touch passing, flicks, couple of back heels, sweeping moves, creating chances through quality build-up play. That's what we did. Right? A few of you asking down like how you apply. Yes, it's a paid role, but you need to have experience. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but the person who will be chosen for this role is somebody who has experience managing communities, big-scale communities, has experience with Discord, has experience. It's not going to be a learn-on-the-job sort of role. So while I appreciate there's going to be enthusiasm, please don't apply unless you have that experience inside those, because you won't get the role. So you're just going to waste your time. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but I'm just telling you. Let's go through that game. Let's speak about the individuals. Speak about me first. I was like, good luck charm or a bad curse. Good luck charm. Ladies and gents, last 2 games I've been at Old Trafford. I really don't get to go enough. Bloody loved it. We've scored 8 goals. We won both of them. It was a 4-1 against Bilbao and now 4-2 against Brentford. I'm taking that. It's a decent record. And can I say as well that Old Trafford was class, man. Big up to the TRA for working on getting those flags in, because the Stretford end, and it looked great on TV, but being in it was even better. It was, the flags make it feel like an occasion. It's the best way I can use to describe it. The flags just helped the atmosphere. Brighton, Brentford, what did I say? Brighton, oh yeah. Not Brentford, we lost 4-2. Anyway, I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyway, 8 goals from us, so I'm basically the good luck charm. But speaking about the individuals, mate, Brian and Mbeumo. Someone talked to me about him in the comments. Seeing him in the flesh, seeing Cunha in the flesh, I don't know why, but it just makes you realise how much sharper they are than when you see him on TV. Like that, he was just mustard. And they're both so strong off the ball as well. They really are sort of all-round attackers. Man, that Kevin Keegan flag was right in front of me. That cracked me up. But Mbeumo now with more goal contributions than any other player in the Premier League. 2 goals against Brighton, not Brentford. Lukey's saying his class. Anthony's saying his movement and finishing and his touch are amazing to watch. And Carl, you're saying he's absolutely class. Man, he is. He saw his flag after the game as well. He enjoyed it. Yeah, Teklam, I'll be honest, I think you're looking at probably the Premier League Player of the Month there in Mbeumo, and I think we're looking at the Premier League Manager of the Month in Amorim. It's probably going to be a double award, which will be richly deserved for both of those players. Then you're saying we all knew he was good, but I didn't expect him to be this good. I think I knew. I'm not seeing anything from Mbeumo that I didn't think he could do at Brentford. I don't think he's showing like a new level above. I think he's just continuing what he was doing at Brentford. And for that in itself, I'm delighted. Because that right there is just not what United have got. Onana, the greatest example of how wrong you can get it. In looking at a player at another club, seeing how good he is, and thinking that's just going to directly translate to United. But with Mbeumo, it's exactly what he's doing. He got, was it 19 goals he got in the Prem last season? How many is he on now? 4 or 5? He's going to be double figures for the season, without a shadow of a doubt. And maybe his new teammate will as well. Cunha with his first goal on Saturday. And if I could choose one player to have scored against Brighton, I would have chosen Cunha. And you're saying you disagree. That's rare you disagree with me, to be honest. Not. It's clear that Brentford were holding him back. He's grown by the game and he's quietly leading. Brentford were holding him back. Dude, he got 19 goals last season. That's holding him back. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him score 24 goals. Let's be honest. Hey, he might do. He might get 20. We have no idea. Mike saying it's 4 goals in the league, 5 in all competitions. Random question then. How many goals do you think Mbeumo finishes on in the league? Let me know. A couple of you disagree with me saying that he's doing more. Maybe he's more involved in the overall team than he is. I don't quite know. But I think the fact that, just in my opinion anyway, which some of you disagree with, the fact that he's just continuing what he's doing and just output. He's an output efficiency machine, isn't he? I would say he's what, a 1 in 3, 1 in 4 striker? Attacker? I mean, like every 3 shots, he's going to get a goal. 25 plus, says Carl. When was the last time we had an attacker score 20 goals in a season? Don't tell me it was Van Persie. Did Bruno get 20 in a season? I'm not sure. Steph, you're thinking 20, so is Ashwin. 14 at least, says Gabriel. I think it's more than 14. Gus, you're saying 20. Jackie, you're saying 28. Jeez. Some big numbers. 22, says Wheezy. 17, 26. What would I go for? I'm going to go... Is it Rashford? Yeah, Rashford. Of course. Did he get 34 goals that season? Was that all competitions? I reckon he'll get 20. Ready Salted Ricky. It's a hell of a username, that. Don't overlook Sesko's touch and turn for Mbeumo's first goal. Well, no, I'm not Gary Neville. I'm not going to do that. Just odd behaviour from Gary, man. Gary Neville, like the perfect example, right? And this is something I really want to say here. A bit random, this, I know, but I was thinking about it. In life, this is not a life lesson, I suppose it kind of is. You're not going to be able to please everybody. If you try to please everybody, you will be exhausted. It's impossible. Like, I do not care what fans of other clubs think about me. In the slightest. I don't really care about doing broadcast stuff and doing this and doing that. Like, I have worked my socks off for like 10 years to build this community here. This community is the only audience that I care about. I only care about what you think of me. That's why I'll always strive to sort of maintain my integrity, because I know if I undermine that, I undermine kind of who I am and what I've built here. But Gary's like, he's so... He's listened to so many people telling him that he can't be a United fan in his punditry and his commentary, that he just appeases to that. Now so far that he then he then just ostracises himself from the United fan base who loved him for like 20 odd years. It's odd behaviour. Like, to kind of go. It's a strange one. To say what he said about Sesko, and I'll speak about that later in the show. Cunha, right? Talk to me about Cunha. He's out there. He's spotted on the Instagram. I was from where we were in like W210, we're just above the tunnel. I saw the Cunha flag, and I was like, that is a class flag. I was trying to get a photo, but I was too side on to get a good photo of it, so I couldn't get one. He saw that we did an Instagram post. Cunha's down there liking it. He knows. And boy, did he have a smile on his face, man. I want to ask you, right? Mbeumo got the official man of the match, I think. I gave Cunha man of the match. Was I wrong in that? Just from me watching it, and I know it was a bit unfair, really, considering Mbeumo scored 2 and he's got that one right at the end was a banger. But Cunha, for me, was just a dynamo. He was absolutely everywhere. Defensively, and Amorim commented on that, about the output defensively from his whole team and the attackers. But Cunha, with the quality of that first goal, like, really just stroked it home into the corner. Deserved it. Or did Cunha get the official one? And Mbeumo got the fan vote on the United app. Right, okay, my bad. He was definitely man of match for me, man. Alan's saying he's rapidly becoming your favourite player. Right, there you go. So, Mbeumo got the club man of the match. Cunha got the Premier League man of the match. That makes sense. Someone down there saying, Sam, what are we going to do if Cunha and Mbeumo both get injured? We're screwed. It's a bit of a random question. What is City going to do if Haaland and someone else get injured? What if Liverpool get Salah and Van Dijk injured? Well, they'll probably just keep losing. More twats. Same thing in any club. You get your 2 best players and you injure them, you're going to be a worse team. That's kind of what happens. Although, we have got some strength and depth, but not enough to cover both of those. I don't know whether with Cunha, it was certain players, you watch them and you feel like he just needs a goal. Like Højlund, bloody hell, last season, so many times. Let me undo this a little bit. You're watching Højlund last season, you're thinking, just get a goal, man, get a goal, and then the floodgates might come. I don't know whether that first goal was like a dam for Cunha. Like he needed that to start playing for, because I think he's been really fantastic for United in most games he's played this season. Obviously, that game against Brighton will stand out because he got his first goal and he was man of the match, and it probably was his best performance. But I don't think he's needed that goal to be playing well for United. It doesn't feel like that was a blocker, like, the sheer relief of it. But I'll tell you what, he enjoyed it. He really enjoyed it. And maybe that will make him better going forward. Now, we've got Forest away next, then we've got Spurs away, international break. Who have we got after that? We've got Palace away, I think. We've got Everton coming up too. What else are you seeing down here? Mbeumo and Cunha, the perfect start to our comeback. They'll be brilliant for the next 5 years. That's a nice thought. The idea they could be doing that for 5 years in the United shirt. I can see Cunha taking up Bruno's role when he moves on, says Grandad Rob. Well, when Bruno does leave, he's going to be... What he does on the pitch will be replaced by multiple players. I'm going to speak about Bruno in a little bit, right? Because something I want to say. But look at this. I'll tell you who I saw before the game. I saw Jason Wilcox. I was walking through the Munich tunnel. I was like, pretty sure it's Jason Wilcox. So I was like, yeah, like a security guard next to me. I was like, is it all right if I say hello? Yeah, all right, cool. Walked up. Jason, how you doing, man? Shook his hand and said, look, continue what you're doing. I think we had a class summer. He just kind of looked at me. He was like, all right, good. And then he went away. Maybe we'll get a Jason Wilcox interview at some time. I don't think we will, because I don't think the club's actually doing that. But the plan for this summer, the strategy behind our signings this summer was score more goals. And we've got, out of our last 7 goals that we've scored in the league, in the 3-game winning run that we are on, Cunha, Sesko and Mbeumo have scored 5 of them. It is not a coincidence that Man United's 3-game winning run has come when Man United's new signings have started firing. It's not a coincidence that United's 3-game winning run has come when we've had a new goalkeeper in goal for all 3 of those games. That's what new signings do. That's why we all love summer transfer windows. Maybe not the circus behind them, but what they bring, what they change. That's why football, maybe it's every sport, I suppose. Every sport that has transfers. Transfers just bring that new hope and that optimism. What you're seeing here is that the optimism that we had in the summer wasn't misplaced. The strategy wasn't completely misplaced. We didn't exactly have the start I thought it was going to have. We did have the toughest start of any team in the league, but the signings are delivering. And when the signings deliver, the team improves and increases. It's not rocket science. It's just rarely happened at this football club because we miss with so many transfers. Right, let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Yeah, I'll be speaking about Senny a little bit later. Don't worry about that. Rev, you're saying, where are the headlines of all 3 signings and the goals? 3 goals and an assist between the 3. What's that? I don't know what you mean there. The ref was... Man, how was that? Even at the time when you watched it, Ahmad went flying. Obviously, you couldn't see it that well from the Stretford end because it is a different experience going to a game. You don't see stuff as closely. You don't get the immediate replays. How was that not given as a penalty? Has it been justified anywhere? I don't know who it was that fouled Ahmad, but he tucked his leg out and Ahmad went flying over the leg. How was that not a penalty? And then there was a second one. I can't remember that. Was that on Mbeumo? Not quite sure. It was just odd. Really, really odd decision. They didn't even look at it on VAR. I don't know how it wasn't given. Anyway, it didn't matter, ultimately. But it was frustrating, nevertheless, sorry. Moving on to what I was saying earlier, this is a comment from Ruben Amorim after the game. And we speak about the attacking output that you saw from Mbeumo, from Cunha, and from Sesko. But it was also their defensive work. And this is what Ruben Amorim demands. And it's something that I think you have to say as well, is United do look significantly fitter this season overall compared to where we were last season. Luke Shaw going off with, I think it was a little bit of fatigue. That's Luke Shaw. United did look worse when those subs were made. But Nick mentioned this in the podcast, and I think it's a really fair point. Like, people are going to... I'll ask you about this. In fact, I'll ask you now. What was your take on the subs and what happened after? Because obviously, Dorgu made the mistake, 3-1. United then kind of sit a little bit deeper, 3-2. And then we didn't need any heartburn in that game, but we got heartburn. But if you're a manager, right, you're Ruben Amorim. If you can't make subs at 3-0 up at home, then when can you make subs? If you can't make subs at that point to try and give players a rest, gave Aiden Heaven his season debut, then when can you make subs? Like, the players should have delivered. I mean, they didn't. And like the Dorgu one was just, man, what are you doing, man? It's just stupid. From our corner, it was the corner of set piece, can't remember. Just a bad touch and a bad pass to turn a corner into a bad transition we got to defend. Someone going down there saying the subs were unnecessary. Like, subs happen in football. Like, the way that United are playing and the way that United have been playing, we do play quite intense. If you can't trust your squad to make subs at 3-0 up at home, like, you never can. There never will be a right time to make subs then. Strange. But in terms of the compliments towards the attackers, there's something that Amorim definitely wants to see more of. Like Cunha, I think there was once or twice where he was like slide tackling down towards the byline. I was up there just doing this. I remember Cobby towards the end, one tackle he made, like the night just before, I think, Mbeumo's goal, the fourth one. But yeah, Someone down there saying he needed to make those subs. He would have to keep making those subs. They need to be ready and they need to do better. They just need to be better. Like Xerxes came on and like nothing stuck to him. Like, poor lad. Every time the ball went up to him, the header didn't lead to possession. It went straight back to them. I think what you're kind of seeing is a big shift and a big drop off between the quality that you're seeing now, the starting 11, and the dip in the squad, unfortunately. And I always feel sorry to a certain degree, for fringe players, because when you, like, for Xerxes, for example, coming on, he couldn't just have a decent game. You have to, like, go above and beyond to prove yourself in that 10, 15-minute period or whatever it was. What are you saying down here? We lost the midfield after they subbed on Kobe. Just Kobe and Ugarte just didn't really... Maybe they were pretty decent in pre-season. I think it was against Bournemouth. I thought Kobe was actually quite good in... When the ball went to him, he wasn't just firing it out somewhere else. He'd take a couple of seconds. He'd try and effectively run down the clock, which is kind of what he was there for, to try and slow the game down where possible and just maintain possession. Richard, you're saying down there, how good was our central progression? It really caught me off guard in that game, man. Really, really caught me off guard. And listen to this as a bit of a mad stat for that game, right? The win over Brighton was the first time since Bruno Fernandes's debut that they've scored at least 4 goals in a Premier League without Bruno getting a goal or an assist. Now, you might argue that was a bit of an assist. We didn't actually touch the ball, though. I definitely didn't notice that enough when I was in the game. Didn't see Bruno, looking to see whether Mbeumo was there, letting the ball run past him. I was just too busy elbowing Ronnie in the head when I was celebrating Mbeumo crashing it in off the bar. But the fact that United managed to score 4 goals and we didn't need Bruno to get a goal or an assist directly, I think is a good reflection that the quality is starting to spread through this team. Once upon a time, basically last season and any season really before for the last 3-4 seasons, if Bruno didn't get a goal or an assist, United might not win a game of football. Everything good that really happened to us, it went through Bruno. So it's good to see that the responsibility is starting to spread around. Oliver down there saying, so did you still lose hope about Amorim? I spoke about Amorim after the Brentford game. And I said I'd lost faith in Ruben Amorim's ability to create momentum. And exactly what I said. Because after that Brentford game, I looked at how the game ended. I looked at how United played. And it just didn't look like any change, any tweaks were coming anywhere at any point from Ruben Amorim. And to his credit, we have tweaked and changed in the 3 subsequent games. Against Sunderland, Senny's debut, we went a bit more direct. We went heavy down that right-hand side, and it worked. Sunderland couldn't really do anything about that. We dominated them, controlled that game. Away against Liverpool, we had a second ball tactic, an approach which really worked, and Liverpool didn't know what to do. And we deserved that win. And then there against Brighton, completely caught me off guard. I thought we were going to play like we did against Liverpool, but instead we actually played ball. I think that first half against Brighton. Does anyone remember the game that we played under Erik ten Hag, where we beat Spurs 2-0 at Old Trafford? I remember speaking about that game for a long time after. I think Fred scored in that game. I spoke about it because it felt like the blueprint. It felt like, if it's going to work with Erik ten Hag, that's the end game. How we played in that game is how he wants United to play in every game. I think how we played in that first 45 minutes against Brighton, that's the end game for Ruben Amorim. That's how he wants us to play. There were moments where we weren't pressing hard at all. We were kind of sitting in shape, waiting patiently. And then, boom, you'd pounce. Central progression wasn't just about long balls. We were building up. We were central. It was that first half there feels like the blueprint for what Amorim wants this team to be every single week. It's up to the players to deliver on that. But it's good to see that they're doing it. And then, speaking about surprises, this man. Let's speak about Casemiro for a bit. Ayush, you're saying, is it Amorim tweaking the system or players executing it properly? There's definitely tweaks, dude. There's tweaks to the pressing shape. There's tweaks to the instructions and the approach, whether it's direct, whether it's winning the second balls, or whether it's playing like we did against Brighton, which might have caught them off guard. There's definite tweaks and it's improvements. And also, it's execution. And Casemiro has been delivering, man. 1 game a week, Casemiro. I personally feel it's the World Cup that's driving him to be the player that he's being. And I mean that in a good way. Like, he knows that World Cup is probably going to be his last... That might be his last bit of football at the very, very highest level. Because I still don't think that United should be renewing Casemiro's contract. And it's not because I'm kicking him out of the door. I just think that from a strategy perspective, I think it's just the right time to shake his hand, say thank you very much for what you did in the United shirt. Good luck elsewhere. But we're going to be reinvesting that money now into a younger midfielder. Thank you for everything you did at the club. And from a professionalism and an example perspective, he's standing out. Like, Ruben Amorim's here being very honest, really, about Casemiro. He's saying in the beginning, he was behind every single midfielder, even Collier. But he fought and he worked. The other guys need to look at Casemiro and understand that football can change really fast. And I like that one there. And we go back to basics. But when the basics are there and the basics are delivered and the levels that Casemiro is delivering, then other things come easier. It's the hard work that opens doors to other things. You don't get free lunches. Sometimes you might get a lucky own goal. Yeah, but you put yourself in that position. Casemiro deserves all the plaudits he gets, man. And I'm really enjoying watching him right now. Kev, you think that he'll get a year extension? I just don't think it's the right call. Now, with the Maguire one, I'd honestly be more open to having a conversation about Maguire getting 1 more year than I think I would be with Casemiro. Because we have this summer is the midfield overhaul summer. And if that means that we're delaying replacing Maguire and maybe getting a new centre-back, then maybe we do that. Maybe we push that 1 year down the line if he takes a big wage cut and he stays and effectively mainly as a role model and an example for people. But not with Casemiro, I don't think. Not with the wages that he's on. And I don't think I'm going to change on that. If I'm being totally honest, I don't think I'm going to change. Because I think that World Cup really is driving him. In a good way. This is like everyone wins sort of thing. But what are you saying down here? Casemiro's fighting for his World Cup squad. Also fighting for a new contract. Shouldn't give him one, but it's only going to benefit us, him fighting for one. Kev, you think he does get a year extension? Just goes to show that Carlo didn't want Casemiro to leave Madrid, says Akash. Don't think he did. But Ancelotti bloody loves him. And I'm enjoying watching him right now. Just as much as I'm enjoying watching him. I honestly didn't really think that, and I mean this in a complimentary way, honestly didn't really think that we needed to have too much of a conversation about Senny Lamons after that game. I think he made a couple of... The one save that I properly missed out on was when Brighton whipped in a cross. You know, one of those crosses that's got that shape on it. It's curling in, and it might just sneak inside the far post if you leave it. And I didn't realise that he got a little tiny, tiny fingertip to it. Just knocked it round the post. And got a goal kick for it. Even better. But I don't think that... I don't think that he needed to be a headline against Brighton. And that's me in his 3rd game saying that. It's exactly where I want to be. Don't want to speak about my goalkeeper every bloody game. But in a positive sense, that's why I want to speak about it from this game. He's really settling in. And he's done it in tough circumstances as well. where United were, and Anfield being his first away game, I'm just enjoying it. You're seeing a goalkeeper doing the basics, but also not quite the basics, just the fundamentals. And everybody else is getting confidence as a consequence. Fans are, and the players are as well. Beat Forest and Spurs, and we're really in the mix for a top 4 contention, says Steph. Absolutely. Yeah, I think he probably should have done better on the free kick. I think it was a little bit central. And some of his kicks in the second half, I was like, just went a little bit low and wasn't really helping us. But I thought he was fantastic. And again, I back him to be just as good against Forest. I back him to be just as good against Spurs. Having a goalkeeper that just isn't throwing the ball in his own net, it just makes a big difference, man. Makes a big, big difference. And I tell you what, like, I definitely want to speak about Sesko now. Because Cunha and Mbeumo stole the spotlight and the headlines for their performances. And I think rightly so. It's not to say, though, that Sesko had a bad game. Because he didn't have a bad game. And it was so... Why do you think... Again, I wasn't listening to commentary. Can someone let me know? Was it a loaded question? Was Gary Neville told that Sesko wasn't having a good game and then he just led on to it? Or did he just kind of come out of nowhere and say it? Because the touch and pass for Mbeumo's first goal was genuinely elite. The touch through his legs, into space, opening up his body, first time right-footed pass into the path of Mbeumo. 1 touch, 2 touches, boom. Stroked it into the corner. It's like why are you lying, Gary? Now, Mr. Miracle is saying, I felt Gary's comments were fair. Please explain how you think they're fair. Now, Gary's comments, right, were that he doesn't think that Sesko is linking up well with Cunha and Mbeumo. What? Apart from when he's just taken that ball with a wonderful touch, laid it into the path of Mbeumo and created his goal. And you watch Sesko in that first half, every single time the ball bloody goes to him, he's winning flick-ons. It's not just going straight back. Quite a few of you are saying that it was kind of out of nowhere. It's just odd. Mate, it's really odd behaviour. As I said, at a time in a game where I actually thought that he was linking up really quite well. Don't think there was anybody in that stadium that thought that Sesko was having a stinker. It's strange. Someone down there, I never liked Gary Neville. I love Gary Neville as a footballer. And I always enjoy Gary Neville as a pundit. But it's just like the longer it goes on, it just gets a bit odd. That's just a really odd thing to say. Anyway, Sesko, I think, had another good game. I think everybody... I'll tell you who didn't have a good game. It goes to show, doesn't it? I think I had Gyökeres down as my dream striker signing this summer. I always felt... Maybe it was the links with Amorim that was driving that decision. Partly, anyway. But it's fair to say that Gyökeres' style and approach has not translated to the Premier League right now. And I can say with confidence that I'm very happy that United made the choice to go for Sesko. If you look at all the striker signings that have happened this summer, it was a big, big summer. Sesko, in terms of striker signings, Sesko, Isaac, what is it, Voltemade? I don't know how to say his name. Voltemade and Gyökeres. Isaac's absolutely stinking out the place, as is the whole Liverpool team. Gyökeres, I think Arsenal are top of the league in spite of his performances. I think Voltemade looks pretty good at Newcastle. Certainly more technical than I thought he was, but Sesko really is far more technical than I thought he was. In terms of the quality of his touch, in terms of the quality of his pass, the sharpness of his movement. He's not like a cumbersome striker by any stretch of the imagination. He can knock it out of his foot really quick. I'm very happy with the striker that we chose to go for. Sesko's duel with Van Hecke was a highlight. I thought he did really, really well. Ekitike was a good signing as well. I think that Liverpool did well then. It kind of makes it even stranger, really, that they went after Isaac because they didn't particularly need him. And you're saying Gene Evans, Timu Souness these days. Ollie hurt him. Gary Neville has decided that he'd rather please the wider audience than say stuff that might please United fans. He's trying to be as impartial as he can, and as a consequence, he's losing respect from United fans. That's what I mean. You cannot please everybody in life. That's how they are the rules. Somebody else who I could speak about so many individuals from that game. I'll tell you what we're going to do this week. We're probably going to do a little halfway video on, like halfway edited video. That's why I call them halfway videos. On De Ligt. I think he deserves it now. Not that he didn't deserve it before, but I always try and I'd rather wait a little bit rather than jumping off the back of one or two good performances, because then he can be a bit of a hoodoo, and then you kind of go too soon. But De Ligt has just been quietly impressive, reliable, consistent. I don't particularly think it was too quiet against Brighton. I thought it was very good. I thought he was very good. There was that one tackle he made. Like, I don't know who it was. Was it down our left-hand side? The ball got played in behind. Maybe it was Luke Shaw. He just came rushing over with a big, powerful sliding tackle. Remember, what was it? Was it Graham Souness who said that De Ligt was lightweight? Then can't remember that. He's very much playing like a captain right now, is what I would say. It was another top performance, and I'd expect him to have another top performance away at Forest. And Forest is going to be a tough game. They lost against Bournemouth, but it's going to be, I think, Sean Dyche's first home game in the Premier League as Forest manager. It won't be easy. But when you look at how United's players are playing, as Stevie's saying, another just doing his job, to a certain degree, but I actually think quite a big part of why it worked against Brighton is how aggressive United's defence was. We weren't too passive. I think there was certain points, certainly in the second half, after the subs were made, we went a bit more passive. You know, like Van Dijk was the king at that. Passive defending. Instead of engaging, you just walk backwards. You keep shuffling backwards and following the player before you put your foot in, and just kind of wait for them to make a mistake. What we did against Brighton, we went aggressive. We were close up them. We were like stopping Brighton from having the space to run in behind. And De Ligt was a big part of that. Shaw, I think, was doing that quite well as well. Rich is saying, did you see the Brighton manager trying to diss us? No. Don't care what he says. Remember before the game where he was trying to, it always sounded like he was trying to goad Amorim into playing football on the floor and don't go long. Well, we did that, mate. And we played through you. Mr. Miracle down there is basically Gary Neville's burner. There's lots of moments Sesko could have done a lot better. He had an okay game with some decent moments. Lots of room for improvement. I think you're going over the top there, dude. Of course he's got room for improvement. I don't think there were lots of things that he could have done better. I think Sesko had a pretty good game. Yeah, I did see the Michael Carrick. Well, I've got it open. I haven't actually watched it yet. The Michael Carrick conversation on the midfield. I'll tell you what, I'm going to really have some fun doing the content this week. I've got some really good video ideas that I think you'll enjoy. Not sure he enjoyed that game. What was everyone's take on Baleba's performance? Boy, he had a stinker. There was one point, I think, quite early in the first half, he got caught on the ball. Nearly led directly to a goal. And I think it was in the second half. I swear at some point he took like a shot from 40 yards that went about 20 yards over the bar. He did nay have a good game. And I think United were right to go for Baleba in the summer. United were right to set a limit on the price of Baleba. And were right to walk away from said price. And I'll tell you what, and Brighton will not be happy about this. Because partly his form this season is down to Manchester United. We got in his head. Dude was waking up to it. He changed his bloody alarm ringtone to Glory, Glory, Man United. He wanted to join United badly. And in his last game against Newcastle was actually his best performance so far this season. So it looked like he was finding a bit. Honestly, and like, don't go crazy and come in here and say like 10, 15 mil. Because that's just obviously not true. How much do you think Carlos Baleba is worth? Given how much, I suppose, has this season affected his price? So say United still wanted Baleba, and they're like, it's all right. We got in his head, but we're pretty confident that he can come through this and find himself again at United. Because 100 mil is not the conversation anymore. So how much is that? Because I don't think Brighton are going to say yes to whatever United bring to the table. Den, you're saying 50 mil. Rev, you're saying 50. Alex, you're saying 40. Smee saying 25, 45. 75 says Akash. 70 says Steve. 60 to 70. I think the conversation would exist, and it's a bit of a cop-out, really. I think the conversation would exist somewhere in the 50 to 60 mil range. But this is exactly why I want to do a lot more research, and the next up in our scouting series is going to be Elliot Anderson. We're playing Forest at the weekend, so on Thursday, the intention is to drop that video. We did it last week, where we analysed Carlos Baleba's season so far. Coming out on Thursday, we're going to be taking a look at Elliot Anderson. Same thing. How has he been getting on? And I'll tell you what, been getting on seriously good. That's what I would say. But yeah, Baleba didn't do himself any favours. Let's be totally honest. Someone's saying avoid Baleba at all costs. I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, I want to speak about this man to wrap up the show. Last couple of minutes, right? I say this man, there's bloody 3 of them on there. Ruben Amorim. Where are you at now with Ruben Amorim? I think it's fair to say that the momentum has shifted dramatically. And I think his tweaks have been a big bloody part of that. And tweaks I didn't think were coming. And I tell you what, man, I'm so damn happy that he tweaked. So happy. Because it worked. And even more than that, we actually played kind of exactly how Ruben Amorim wants us to play against Brighton. We didn't just go long ball. We didn't go for the second balls at all. We played really well, and we played through Brighton. And he'll be delighted with that. The work rate on and off the ball from his attackers, that's what he wanted to see. The press, sometimes we were a little bit passive, but that was on purpose. And then we used the triggers and we went forward. I think most of our goals in that game came from United winning the ball in their half. So just so much of what we saw against Brighton is what Ruben Amorim wants his United team to be. Let me see what you're saying down here. Angus saying, trust the process. We've had open heart surgery. And that Ragnick quote still coming out. 3 games changes the narrative. If you think about it, right? 3 wins at any point in a season can change a narrative. In the same way that losing 3 consecutive games at any point in the season can change a narrative. We've got Forest next. We've got Spurs next. And the way that United played in these 3 games, we're going to be going to the City Ground with some confidence against Forest. And not misplaced. Franny saying, I've always been behind Amorim. He's a big shift in culture we needed to wean the dead wood out and be ruthless. Yeah, it's so much the cultural good work. We've always said that, even through the crap we were watching on the pitch in terms of the results. The culture has always been there. Is anybody speaking about the system after that game? Has any one pundit mentioned anything about the fact that United played 3 at the back against Brighton? Or was all the focus on the great football that United were playing? And Cunha's performance, and Mbeumo's performance, and Lamonde's performance, and how good Casemiro was in midfield? It wasn't anything to do with the system. It was about how the players played. And that's kind of something that Ruben Amorim does say quite a few times. I enjoyed it. Thank you. As I said, I'll say one more time. 2 big thank yous in this show to Gungshi and to JC for being so damn generous. You're all legends. If there's any of you that really do feel that you could actually be a genuinely strong community manager, it's quite a lot of work, And it's going to be helping us with organising meetups, organising live shows, organising new things for Discord, organising and helping maybe on the merch side of things. It's not an entry-level role. So if you don't have experience in anything to do with that and managing big-scale communities, please don't apply because you won't be able to get it. But thank you to everyone who came and saw me at the weekend. To be able to go to Old Trafford and enjoy myself, enjoy the win, see United score 4. I loved it. I had a great time. Now we're back to work. And this week, we've got a busy week. As I said, 7 p.m. tonight, the podcast video is dropping. Lunchtime video, that's going to be on... I want to do something on United's push for the Champions League next season. Then this week, we're going to have videos on Delict. We're going to have a video on Elliot Anderson. Obviously, the Forest starting 11 is going to go out on Friday. Jackie's saying, is there an application process? There will be. We're going to be putting out a full job advert. But I'm just saying, if anybody here who wants to, email me, sam@unitedpeoples.tv, and then I'll point you towards the full job ad when it goes out. All right? Thank you all. Please do drop a like on the video. I'll see you tomorrow morning, and I'll also see you at lunchtime today.